Welcome, everyone, to our broadcast, The Real Road to Recovery. I just want to take the opportunity for WYTV7 for giving us this opportunity to have our wonderful guest speaker. Her name is Barbara Allen, and she is the author of Releasing the Stronghold. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you for having me, Marietta. So glad to be here.
We're glad you're here too. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am originally from New York, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, Queensbridge Houses, which is one of the largest housing complexes in the world. I've made a home in Gainesville, Georgia. I've been there now for 16 years. There, I am a certified addiction recovery empowerment specialist through the Georgia Council of Substance Abuse. I've also been working in behavior health for 16 years. I'm a mom of 5 and a grandmother to 8, a business owner. And my biggest accomplishment, or the thing that I'm most proud of, is that I'm 33 years clean and sober from crack cocaine. Thank you.
That is wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your book.
My book, Releasing the Stronghold. It's a 7-week guided workbook. You can read it or you can work it. In the book, I share some of the strongholds I dealt with. First of all, you would ask, what is a stronghold? Well, a stronghold is something that holds you bound, that has you captive, that locks you in. It could be emotional things like isolation. It could be items like trauma. In my book, I shared the 3 that I dealt with, which was childhood trauma, being molested. I also share my experience with domestic violence. And again, I talk about my addiction to crack cocaine. In the book, one of the things that I learned was that once I got clean and sober, I still had all of those strongholds. You know, we think that's the easy part, but that's where the journey began. And so in the book, I shared the things that I did to release the strongholds that I had. The book, like I said, it's an interactive workbook. It has 7 chapters. Each chapter has scriptures, readings. It has prayer, and it has questions to make you think, you know, when you're trying to release your own strongholds, as well as an area where you can journal your thoughts or feelings.
That is wonderful. A stronghold is a very powerful thing. So we're delighted that you wrote this Releasing the Stronghold book. What inspired you to write it?
Well, I think the main thing was that once I got clean and sober and I was able to release my strongholds and working in behavior health, I've been in that field for 16 years. I constantly ran into people that was dealing with the same thing. And the devil will tell you, or the enemy will tell you, that you're the only one that has these secrets and holding on to this stuff. But I learned that I'm not the only one. And so my daughter motivated me to go ahead and get this story out. So yes, it's helping so many people.
That's wonderful. And I know it will. I mean, that's a magnificent story. So what's next now that you've written this book? What's next?
So I've shared that I'm a business owner. I'm in the process of starting a nonprofit. It's called Restoration and Hope, and it's to help people get their life back on the right track. And so the goal is just to have a resource center where people can just come, connect, get information to help them move forward in their own recovery. There, I'm going to also be doing recovery groups, mentorship, sponsoring people that take that step to releasing their strongholds. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is I almost threw it my second book, and it's the Releasing the Stronghold. It's a 30-day devotional that should be out around Christmas time.
That is wonderful. Congratulations. That's amazing. I mean, God is continuing to use you and continue with this journey of bringing hope and healing to a hurting world. Like you said, there's a lot of people out there dealing with behavioral health issues and substance abuse and just abuse in general.
Yes.
So the anxiety that we're all facing, I really believe that your book will truly help a lot of people. So we're really excited that you're just empowering women, people of all races. So we're excited to have you. Where can I go purchase your book?
So right now it's available on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon Books and you can just type in Releasing the Stronghold, or you can type in Barbara Allen and it will come up.
That is wonderful. Can we just go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back to hear a little bit more about Barbara's story.
Thank you.
80% of women will develop a pelvic health condition at some point in their lives. There is relief. There is hope. The Pelvic Floor Store, your resource for personal health.
Hi, and welcome back to Real Road to Recovery. My name is Marietta Trimble, and I am your host. The reason why this is the Real Road, we have our guest speaker, Barbara Allen, and she is giving us her Real Road to Recovery story. Our Real Road is about revelation, really your road to Damascus moment that you had, the encouragement that everything that you did every day, Barbara, to get set free, the actions that you took. We're just going to dig a little bit deeper on the second half, and what you're doing now, how you're living your life to inspire others. So on the first half, Barbara did discuss that she is 33 years clean, and I think that's absolutely amazing. Can you just share with us how that affected your family, how you got set free?
Okay. Well, first, let's talk about the addiction, how I got started. So dealing with the trauma of being molested by a family member for a long time. I broke out of that, or got out of that, when the first guy that I met said he loved me, and I wind up having a baby at 17, got married shortly after, had my second child, and I actually thought I was going to be spending the rest of my life with this guy. You know, we married, and I thought this was my happily ever after, but it wound up being a nightmare. You see, I was fighting for my life, you know. So when I finally got out of that marriage, I had to go back home feeling defeated, isolation, shame, guilt, you name it, I dealt with it, and it was just tearing me up. And so to numb all of those feelings, I began using crack. Like I said, crack cocaine was my addiction, because I didn't want to feel, I didn't want to deal with it. And although when you think about crack, it's, you know, you get high and it's a short fix, you know, because once you sober up, it's right back there. And so, you know, got high for, you know, a while. And I can remember plenty of times praying and asking God, if you hear me, can you help me? You know, I don't want to do this. And I eventually started selling drugs. This particular day that God delivered me, probably was a day I would have died, because I sat at my kitchen table with a kilo cooking it up and thought that I was going to get high, but God had a different plan. I literally heard the audible voice of God tell me that if I put that crack pipe down, I'll never use it again. And of course, me being in a house by myself, I thought I was hallucinating. So I'm looking around like, you know, and I tried to smoke again, and I heard it again. It was a firmer voice, but a loving voice. If you put that pipe down, you'll never use it again. And I put it down, and I never used it again. And only God does stuff like that. But I like to share that any road can end in recovery. For me, I got delivered at my table. There's rehabs, there's inpatient facilities, you know, there's NA, AA, you know, crisis stabilization units. Any road can end in recovery. I'm just glad that God led me on that path, and it helped me be a better person, for my family, even for my mom, who I always say, I'm glad she got to see me clean and sober. She just didn't get to see me healed.
That's a magnificent story. I mean, God does speak to us, and I'm so happy that he met you right where you're at. He meets us in our broken places. So he does come to us.
Yes.
So anybody that you were around, I mean, did they die in that any of your friends that you were doing crack with, or how did that journey?
So I say all drugs is bad. I'm thankful that, back in my time, the drugs wasn't really killing anybody, the people that I associated with. But I did have to find new friends, because when you get your life on the right track, sometimes your friends, they don't want to receive you, They want you to hang out. They don't believe that you're delivered. They don't believe that you're not getting high anymore. And so they will begin to test you. And so for me, the best thing for me was, because I chose life, I chose God, I chose to be healed. And that meant I had to separate from my friends.
That's true. I mean, I've heard that you become who you hang around with.
Yes.
So we have to be very picky who we let in our circle.
Yes.
Because they can always be that influence. We want to make sure that we're the influencer, that they're influencing us. So that's wonderful. I'm just so excited to hear about how God's brought you through that. I know that with our viewers here, we want to definitely give them hope on the other side of the struggles and the pain. You mentioned that you had a lot of pain that brought you to the addiction.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, what was going on in your mind? Because I know a lot of the battle starts in our mind.
Yes.
Can you kind of take us through that?
So again, once I got clean was when I really started like hurting. I'm dealing with isolation. I'm dealing with shame. I'm dealing with guilt. It was getting like unbearable. I can remember one day just trying to make myself feel better. I went to my bathroom window, my bathroom mirror, and just looking in the mirror, at first I'm looking like, yeah, I look fly, my hair look good and all of that. But I began to look deeper, and I share this in my book. I began to look deeper, and I went beyond the outward appearance into the inner. And I seen that 7-year-old child hurt, feeling ashamed, feeling guilty, feeling let down, feeling unprotected. Because even in my, even being molested, I can remember telling my mom what happened to me. And it was like, that's not true. Don't tell nobody. What happens in here stays in here. This, again, that's that generational curse, those family secrets. And so seeing myself, going through all of that with the shame, the guilt, the isolation, the fear, the constant reminder of listening to my abuser who was beating me up, telling me I was nothing, I was nobody loved me. I even doubted that God loved me. And so taking that deep look at myself in that mirror, I began to cry. I mean, I just weep and I weep and I weep. And I just said, you know what? I'm better than this. I am somebody, and I began to start mentoring to myself, empowering myself, self-gratification. I just began declaring that I am a child of the Most High and I deserve life. I deserve to be happy. And I just began to take control over my life. And in the book, I talk about the different things that I did to release the strongholds. One of them was like to confront my abusers. I had to let them know how I felt, what they did to me. It was something about when I looked them face to face, eye to eye. Hey, this is what happened. This is how I felt. And regardless of the outcome of what they said, I didn't care. I took power back because I stood up and I said how I felt. I said how they made me feel. And in a book, I also talk about forgiveness. That's the hardest thing, to really forgive and let go. But, people don't realize forgiveness is for you. When we have unforgiveness, that can make us sick in our body, emotionally drain, strain us and all of that. So I had to come to a point where I forgave and let go. And I did that. And that was another thing that empowered me. Another stronghold dropped off because I was able to find that space to do that. So, yeah.
That is amazing. I mean, I can see it in your face. I can see that you're set free. I can see that you're released from all the guilt and the shame that you felt. And like you said, from your abuser, because those were lies and you
Yes.
weren't believing them any longer. And so I am so happy and proud of you that you were able to share your story in your book, and it's going to help many people.
Yes.
So I just want to thank Barbara for being our guest. And if you have a real road to recovery story that you want to share, something that God has brought you through a trial into triumph, we would love to have you on our show. My name is Marietta Trimble, and this is the Real Road to Recovery broadcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, Barbara.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, my name is Kevin Washington, and for over 30 years, I've committed myself to the skill set of grant writing in the name of serving those communities most vulnerable. And now I'm going to pass this on to you. So whether you're a beginner working in your own nonprofit or you want to work at your own pace to learn more about grant writing, Excellence Academy is just for you. So don't delay. I'll see you in the classroom.
Welcome back. My name again is Marietta Trimble. I am the host of Real Road to Recovery, and you have been watching Barbara Allen. She is an author of Releasing the Stronghold, and we would love to hear the last few words of encouragement from you.
Sure. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that I love. It says, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but we rarely acknowledge the change that it has to go through to achieve that beauty." And if you don't mind, I want to share this. So we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but we rarely acknowledge the change that it goes through. And so I want to encourage anybody that you just have to be willing to make that change. We know that recovery is not easy, but it is achievable. Just don't be scared. Take the step and know that, there's plenty of people out there who are going through what you're going through, and you're not alone. And I do want to leave a number. So if you're in Georgia and in crisis, you could always call this crisis and access number. And that number is 800-715-4225. And they'll be more than happy to help you get into recovery, get plugged in. There's also a national number that you can call, which is 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-8255. Again, I encourage you to get my book, Releasing the Stronghold. And it definitely is the great step for you to take to release some strongholds in your life. You can get my book on Amazon, Barbara Allen, or Releasing the Stronghold. And if you want to comment or want more information, you can reach me at Restoration and Hope, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. That's Restoration and Hope, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. And to our viewers, we'll be here every week, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please follow, share, and reach out to me if you would like to be a guest on my show, The Real Road to Recovery, to share us your story at mjtrimblewed@gmail.com. Or you may contact me at wytv7.org/contacts. Thank you again so much. And we look forward to seeing you next time.